The authoritarian regimes are seeking to tilt the global norms in their favor, and that has really spurred an era of strategic competition. I would argue that the central imperative of our day is to do all we can to ensure that that competition does not become conflict.
Today, the Chinese Communist Party poses a military threat to America and our allies, an economic threat to our companies, and an ideological challenge around the world. For the past 2 years, the Select Committee has demonstrated how the CCP's aggression in areas like fentanyl, IP theft, transnational repression, Taiwan, and trade are all different fronts in the same war.
Is there some attempt to really follow through on that, to make America at the university level initially, but then with paths to citizenship, become a magnet for global talent? I think that will be a key tell about how serious they are about the comprehensive tech competition. But that approach is going to have to involve some modification of a somewhat antagonistic views of universities as institutions.
There are over 750 Chinese companies operating in Saudi Arabia and leading key projects. It's not just small companies. I mean, this is a serious economic engagement. And of course, China is Saudi Arabia's number one trading partner when it comes to imports as they import their oil. So this is one aspect that is, adds even more complexity to the various relationships that the Trump administration has to reckon with.
One area where you could create potentially a nominal wedge between the two is not trying to look at it transactionally, what can the U.S. go in to disrupt either Russia or China, but where is there some level of competition between the two that they could, and that would be in their proximate neighbors of Central Asia and the South Caucasus. Russia has very much viewed that region, South Caucasus and Central Asia, those countries, those 8 countries, as its sphere of influence, but China disrupted that a bit in the last 10 to 12 years with its Belt and Road Initiative that went through.
And we talk about the strength of state-owned enterprises and that China has undue ability to manage and control industrial policy. That can actually backfire too by investing too heavily in industries that are, quite frankly, dead weight. And we should bear that in mind as we look at what the United States is trying to do under the new administration. And there is a race for capital, new capital.
One of the problems with this strategic competition framework, or focusing on great powers, is we commit our perennial sin of ignoring Africa, ignoring Latin America, all markets where China is extremely active, and it can now provide to these places the world's best electronic vehicles at a fairly low price and help them solve other problems.